Hello everyone, thanks for inviting me, Creative Mornings. My name is Frederic Rozier and I'm here to talk about heritage. First of all, what is heritage? Heritage is what has been handed to us from the past. And in different shapes, heritage defines the identity of a period in time, as well as through movable as through immovable property. I'm a heritage addict in both segments. Let's start with immovable. Buildings have always been prior indicators on how cities looked in a certain period of history. As architecture is so identity defining, it's important to preserve original concepts. Say heritage. People associate it with historical grandeur, churches, monuments, prestigious buildings, the touristic highlights. But identity has many faces. Identity is determined as well through the house next to the church as through the church itself. Both are equally relevant, and this is a crucial insight. Because the depreciation of architectural add value in private property is reflected on the way real estate works. Value of property is only taxed through criteria such as size, quality of building, and location. And this is how sometimes very iconic buildings got destroyed or horribly transformed. We have the example of the only building designed by Willy van der Meeren in Ghent, the former HBK bank, now the VOCA headquarters, and as you can see, it has been transformed with no respect and understanding of the original concept. Another example is La Maison de Pepe, designed by Victor Horta, built in 1899, which was dismantled in 1965, where the pieces were kept but laying in the fields, rusting away, and even a part got sold as scrap metal by a fraud. And only a small part got restored and used in the Horta Grand Café in Antwerp. Here you see some houses we have for sale. And as you can see, they're all from the 20th century, different periods, different styles, but all with this architectural plus. Architectenwoning takes a completely different angle and has originated from a passion for 20th century architecture and design, and bad feelings about buildings only being perceived as bricks and stones. Architectenwoning aims on preserving by bringing the right people to the right house. The architect and creative concept are crucial selection and taxation criteria. Through an assessment, the value of the architectural plus is described and calculated so both sellers and buyers get the correct price for the right authentic value. And for architectenwoning, the architect is scored, his or her realization treated with the highest possible respect. What's the win-win on the level of heritage? Sellers know their often unique property will be handed over to people that respect, understand, and preserve that building. Because a lot of architects and homeowners often share that concern, and they don't want their valuable property, heritage, to fall into the wrong hands. On the level of financial fairness, both parties get a correct and fair price, a price that does not exceed property prices for comparable houses, but then the ugly ones. And heritage is not dramatically more expensive. And last, durability. There's a consistent volume of people on the market that generally wants to invest in architectural beauty. So our goals are preserving through an inventory and saving from oblivion. Because the add value, immovable but also movable, of every house is described in detail online together with a biography of the architect. Professional visuals are very important to catch the total concept as well as the detailed features. In this way, ArchitectenWoning works on an inventory listing every architectural add-value house in Belgium. And very often, those 20th century architects were also designers that designed the complete interior to go with the house itself. The house and the interior was one global concept. A great example is Victor Horta's own house, where you can clearly see that all the furniture, lighting, accessories were all, to even the doorknob, were all designed and produced to perfectly match the architectural concept. And it's evident when such architects design furniture that the heritage value of those pieces is priceless. Of course, it's commonly known that architects design furniture, but here in Belgium, the knowledge about it is usually very poor. Many of these objects are simply forgotten, thus lost. And those are still in circulation, are very rare, which means exclusive, which means very expensive. And it's my vision that movable heritage should be alive, accessible, and affordable. And the only way to really achieve this is by re-editing those objects. This idea was shared with the still living Belgian architect designer Lucien Engels, who was immediately very enthusiastic and touched to learn that his designs were not yet forgotten, which was his profound conviction, as nobody before me had ever asked him such a thing. Then I had personal meetings with other Belgian architects, and in case the architect was deceased, the family was contacted. I only got very warm and positive response, as in the case of Renats Braam's sister. The respect was deep and mutual. The patterns were arranged, and lost and found was a fact. Our mission is to bring back into the spotlight those Belgian architects by bringing back into production their often forgotten designs and make these objects accessible and affordable to every design lover in Belgium and worldwide. These objects were not designed for the museum. They were designed to live in the interior of living people. That is where they belong, and that is where I want them back. What have been realized till now, we started with Willy van der Meer, and our aim is to continue and to cover all important 20th century Belgian architects. But our focus is not only on the iconic pieces. We also search for powerful designs of nearly unknown pieces of furniture and lighting, pieces that sometimes even the experts have no knowledge of. These unicas get our full attention. Here you see some lighting designed by Willy van der Meer. They're all one-off because these objects have been designed for the production of one specific place or interior. And it's a kind of a 20th century archaeology, where we even went to Leros in Greece in search for one specific chair designed by Willy van der Meer with only a name. And as you can see, we found it. We launched November 2013 on the design market, which Carmen introduced. It's twice a year, March, November, every time in Ghent. And we launched with Willy van der Meer because highly interesting about Willy van der Meer was his vision on design. As a hardcore socialist, he wanted his furniture to be produced on an industrial level. So it could be affordable to as many people as possible. I brought some pieces designed by Willy van der Meer. We have the Boomerang Set that you can see on the slide and here. And I have a really interesting quote about the boomerang by Willy van der Meer. I'll read it to you for the people in the back. I was wondering whether I couldn't make a small plating that would bring a little color into the house. Would be cheap and could serve as an occasional table. It wouldn't need to hold anything more than a book, a packet of cigarettes, or a cup of tea. Nor should it take up much space, and in fact it should be part of the armchair. By bending it around the leg of the armchair, it naturally assumed its boomerang shape. My aim was also to make a cheap and useful present that would suit every interior. And another example that I brought, it's the T1. That's the dining table, and I also brought the smaller version T2. It was easier to get it here. And it has much possibilities, as you can see, with this one form, a lot of possibilities. And it's obvious that these tables do very well in restaurants and in lounges, but also add a touch to exhibition of, for example, business interiors. Here you see a picture of the raw food restaurant Essence in Ghent. It's by architect Glenn Sestig with a selection of furniture by Lost and Found. You can see the T1 dining tables together with the Potence wall lamp, both designed by Willy van der Meer and surrounded with the Lucien Engels chairs. Another collaboration with Glenn Sestig, it's the Venice Beach Gym. It's opening today. Again, with a selection of Lost and Found furniture. You can see the T1 tables, again the Potence, and there we put some Willy van der Meer chairs around it, and some slides where you can get the look and feel of the gym itself. But they were still working really hard yesterday, so I couldn't get the right pictures. As to production, high quality standards are respected, and we try to at least meet the quality of the original pieces. Everything is made in Belgium, because at the time everything was made in the so-called Belgian ateliers, and we really want to respect that tradition. These ateliers are all expert in their domain, and the original way to assemble is respected. And of course, the price is always much lower than the original ones, which means affordable to a larger number of people. And we are working hard to promote our concept internationally. Sharing passion for design is what keeps us going 24/7. Our drive is a permanent search for inspirational heritage from 20th century Belgian architects and designers, by bringing it back into the spotlight and so saving it from oblivion, making it accessible and affordable to many people who integrate it into their interior and become passionate about it. As me, who started collecting at a very young age, as you probably can see now in the picture, 15 years old, looking on a flea market for that rare gem. Thank you all for listening. Are there any questions?